Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Remember to like and subscribe for better public-funded universities next time you play. Maybe. Today we're building Dr. Peter Venkman from the Ghostbusters. He might not be the smartest of the bunch, but he's decidedly the most Murray. He's also probably the only opportunity I'll have to make a Bill Murray build, unless y'all want Garfield. I shouldn't have brought that up. Tabaxi with the cook feet. That's it, I'm not doing any more.
I started a joke.
Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, we need to be the Keymaster. Just kidding, I lied, and you need to be able to lie to extraplanar deities without flinching. Next, we need a method to hold those deities steady while our fellow busters get the trap ready. Finally, we need to store those deities somewhere, ideally somewhere environmentally friendly, but considering we're stopping the apocalypse, I think the EPA can let it slide if our carbon footprint gets a little high. 100 corporations create 71% of carbon emissions. Maybe focus on them. For stats, we'll be using the standard point array from the player's handbook. Roll for stats if you want, I'm not a cop. Charisma will be number 1, Bill freaking Murray. What else needs to be said? Wisdom after that, you're a psychologist, and both insight and medicine are wisdom skills. Still, you did get your doctorate, so intelligence next. Even if you had Egon to get you through your classes, I'd say that was a pretty smart move. Follow that up with constitution. Ghosts can hurt, so if you're going to bust them, you need some thick skin. Dexterity is a little low, you're not exactly a gymnast and will dump strength. Again, you're really just a regular guy. Honestly, considering you're a regular human, it's impressive how well you do fighting ancient gods. You must be lucky. It's a good thing variant humans get a feat then, letting you grab the lucky feat for 3 luck die that you can use to reroll an attack roll, skill check, or saving throw once per long rest. You can also use it to give someone attacking you disadvantage so you don't become a ghost that needs busting. Bump your intelligence and your charisma with your 2 free points, take investigation for your skill of choice, and make your own psychologist background for insight and medicine proficiency. Maybe there's an official background that gives you those skills, but there are so many backgrounds from so many sources, and I don't understand why some of them have the skills they get. So since you can just build your own background from the player's handbook anyway, I just don't worry about it too much. We'll kick things off as a bard because Venkman doesn't really make the equipment. He's just kind of buddies with the artificers and wizards. You get to pick any 3 skills you like persuasion, deception, and performance. I'm picking those because you're a master of fast talking and one-liners. You get bardic inspiration, letting you give your allies a d6 to add to attack rolls, ability checks, or saving throws, so they have a good reason to keep you around. You've got an amount of these per long rest equal to your charisma modifier, and you don't get extra D&D points for having them left over, so make sure you're using them. You also get spells and cantrips like Vicious Mockery, forcing a wisdom saving throw on a creature, dealing 1d4 psychic damage if they fail, and they have disadvantage on their next attack roll. It's particularly effective on stuffy bureaucrats. Message lets you communicate with a creature within 120 feet of you. It's basically a fantasy walkie-talkie. Light creates a light so you can see in the dark with your dumb human eyes. For your first level spells, Detect Magic will let you scan for ghosts sensing magical auras and letting you know what's causing them. You're probably looking for necromancy, pro tip. Once you find them, you'll need to start the light show, so use Fairy Fire to force a dexterity saving throw on creatures in a 20-foot cube. Failing that, attack rolls on them have advantage, and they can't turn invisible for a minute depending on your concentration. Charm Person forces a wisdom saving throw on a humanoid. Failing that, they're charmed by you for an hour, which should help you drum up business. It's sort of weird how everyone turns on the Ghostbusters after they saw demonstrative proof that ghosts got busted. Clearly they're mad because the charming wore off. But for the real side-splitting spell, Tasha's Hideous Laughter forces a wisdom saving throw on a creature. Failing that, they fall prone and are incapacitated for a minute depending on your concentration. They get to reroll the saving throw every time they take damage. Bill Murray is funny, but if someone hits you with a hammer, that kinda ruins the punchline. Second level bards get Song of Rest, letting your allies heal an extra d6 on short rests. Remember that scene in Ghostbusters? You know, that scene? Your party's having nice dreams. You're also a jack of all trades, letting you add half your proficiency bonus to skills you're not proficient with, to be pretty good at everything. For this level spell, Disguise Self lets you change your appearance for an hour. It can be seen through with an investigation check, but as long as you're just making yourself a construction worker or something like that, I don't know why anyone would try to investigate you. Your deception's pretty good. It can get even better at the 3rd level of Bard thanks to Expertise, letting you double your proficiency with 2 skills. I'd go for Persuasion and Deception to Bamboozle and Regular Woozle. Woozle is the long form version of Woo. I don't want to judge you, but Ellen Ripley is kind of out of your league. You can also choose a bardic college, and psychology is basically being good at talking to people, so the College of Eloquence makes sense, giving you a silver tongue, meaning that the lowest you can roll on a persuasion or deception check is a 10, still adding your charisma modifier and double proficiency thanks to expertise. That's a lot. You also get unsettling words, letting you spend an inspiration die to subtract that amount from an enemy's saving throw before the start of your next turn. This leaves your action free to cast spells like Hold Person, force a wisdom saving throw on a humanoid, failing that they're paralyzed for up to a minute depending on your concentration. Some ghosts are still humanoids, some aren't. This won't work on those, but we'll get something later. Just call a ghost ugly before you bring it over the trap. 4th level bards get an ability score improvement. Everything you do is tied to charisma, so it shouldn't be a huge surprise when I recommend investing in charisma. For this level's spell, Knock breaks a lock, but it also makes a loud noise. Property damage never was a big concern for you. 5th level bards get a Font of Inspiration, letting you recover inspiration die on short rests, which is good for your pseudo firefighter aesthetic. For this level spell, Dispel Magic removes an effect of a spell of 3rd level or lower automatically, and higher level spells with a charisma check of 10 plus the spell's level. Curses are nasty business, especially when they're affecting people you're trying to schedule dinner with. Your bardic inspiration die also increases to a d8 as well, which should help you keep the team having a good time. 6th level Eloquence bards get Unfailing Inspiration, meaning that if someone rolls an inspiration die and fails, they get to keep the die and roll it again. It's really nice and kind of encourages people to do things they're bad at because it might be funny. Dip back to the 2nd level for Enthrall, letting you force a wisdom saving throw on creatures that can hear you. Failing that, they'll have disadvantage to perceive creatures that aren't you in case you need to distract the baddies or just keep the cops off your party's back. You also get Counter Charm, letting you give allies advantage on saves against being charmed or frightened, but it takes a whole action, so it's not great. 7th level bards can learn 4th level spells. Locate Creature lets you find a creature or a specific type of creature within 1,000 feet of you. You know what direction it's moving in if it is moving. It's like an updated version of Detect Magic for your little tracker thingy. Ray knows what it's called, you just need to know what it does. 8th level bards get another ability score improvement so you can cap off your charisma modifier, and now I really don't know what to do with the rest of them. Probably the tough feat, let's be real and predictable. For this level spell, Enhance Ability lets you give a creature advantage on a type of ability checks for an hour depending on your concentration. If you choose Strength, they also double their carrying capacity. If you choose Dex, they don't take falling damage from heights of 20 feet or less. And if you choose Constitution, they also get 2d6 temporary HP. It's basically super inspiration. You got Tully to bust ghosts. You can inspire anyone. 9th level bards can learn 5th level spells. Hold Monster is like Hold Person without the humanoid restriction for all the ghosts that really let themselves go. Like, what was Slimer before he died? Sentient cotton candy? 10th level bard is always fun. You get expertise in 2 more skills. Insight and medicine would be solid backups if the ghost busting thing doesn't work out. Personally, I feel like it's a little bleak to tell a bard to have a backup job. Follow your dreams. Careers in the arts are possible, viable, and less susceptible to automation. You also get magical secrets, 2 spells that can come from any list. I'll go for banishment first to force a charisma saving throw on a creature, either sending them to a harmless demiplane or to a plane that they crawled out of for a minute depending on your concentration. If you can hold it there, it'll stay there as long as it's not from around here, if that makes sense. Levitate lifts objects weighing 500 pounds or less, and you can move those things 20 feet as an action on your turn. If that object is alive, or if it used to be alive, I guess, it can make a constitution saving throw to resist, but you're pretty good at lifting stuff up with that beam of yours. Your inspiration die is now a d10 if you like inspiring people. Hopefully you do, that's kind of what your whole subclass is about. 11th level bards can learn 6th level spells. True Seeing gives a creature 120 feet of true sight for an hour, letting you see all the ghosts wherever they're hiding. 12th level bards get an ability score improvement. Maybe invest in Constitution for better concentration. Banishment basically requires 2 modifiers to work properly, and you are the best busters in the biz. Technically, you're the only busters in the biz. Doesn't that violate antitrust laws? I know everyone freaks out when there's a new team of Ghostbusters, but maybe 4 dudes covering the entire New York metro area isn't the best idea. 13th level bards can learn 7th level spells, but I don't want any just yet. Instead, grab Calm Emotions, forcing a charisma saving throw on some creatures. Failing that, the effects of charming or frightening on them go away and make them non-hostile towards you and your co-workers for a minute. It's not forever, but it should give the more learned members of the party enough time to look up the lore on the enemy you're fighting and prevent mass hysteria. 14th level bards get more magical secrets. Plane Shift brings you and 8 buddies to a different plane or sends something to another plane that you hit with a melee spell attack, and if they fail a charisma saving throw. Zool? More like Jewel, because it's going in a pod. A ghost pod. I'm not as funny as Venkman. I don't know what you want from me. Sleep puts things to sleep. Roll 5d8, and that's how many hit points you can make go night-night for a minute. Higher level versions of this add 2d8 hit points per spell level. Zool is probably a hellhound, so you'll need about 45 HP worth of sleeping pills to make it take a little nap. You'll also get infectious inspiration, letting you inspire another creature as a reaction when someone uses one of your inspiration die, effectively doubling your inspiration amount. 15th level bards can learn 8th level spells. Glibness was originally called polymorphing into Star of Stage and Screen Bill Murray, but they changed it because they thought it was too wordy. Makes the lowest you can roll on a charisma check 15 before adding all your modifiers for pretty much unbeatable persuasion and deception rolls. Your inspiration die also bumps up to a d12 for maximum inspiration. 16th level bards get another ability score improvement. Constitution would be good, you fought a god, and whatever Vigo is and didn't die. Part of hit point calculation is pure dumb luck, and you're pretty dumb and lucky. Speaking of that, 17th level bards learn 9th level spells. Foresight makes a creature immune to surprise. They get advantage on attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws, and creatures attacking them have disadvantage. Remember that famous Nietzsche quote, "Be careful those who bust ghosts, and you'll never become them because the movie is really funny, and if you died it would kind of ruin the whole experience." Gotta love Nietzsche. 18th level bards get one last set of magical secrets, and even though Mind Blank is actually on the bard list, it's a pretty good spell for you. It makes a creature immune to psychic damage and nothing can read its mind. So you don't have to worry about someone dropping the ball when someone asks your team to pick the form of your destroyer. Well, at least they won't have to worry about you. For your final spell, honestly, Lightning Bolt. You shoot lightning out of your ghost catcher thing, so force a dexterity saving throw on creatures in a 90-foot line, dealing 8d6 lightning damage to those that fail, half as much to those that succeed. You probably shouldn't point the thing at non-ghosts, but if you do, I bet it wouldn't tickle. 19th level bards get our last ability score improvement, and what the heck, let's get more Constitution. It's not the tough feat, I'm changing it up a bit. The reason I'm going for a raw Constitution instead of just getting the tough feat is for better saves as well. You don't have proficiency with Constitution saves. Honestly, the resilient feat wouldn't be a bad pick either. If something messes with your trap when you drop the ghost in, you basically beefed one of your slots. Our capstone is the 20th level of bard for superior inspiration, meaning that if you don't have any inspiration die when you roll initiative, you get one. Basically, as soon as the apocalyptic event starts, you get a quip. Though it would be super annoying if there was a blockbuster where New York was getting attacked by a world-ending event and the heroes just kept joking with each other. I'd be really mad about that existing. Now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how viable this build is. First, charisma. You're just about the most charming build we've ever made, other than other high-level bards with glibness. By the way, Isabel, Steven Universe, Venkman, and Constantine would be a heck of a D&D party, just saying. You're also great at just kicking people out of a fight, with banishment and plane shift to totally get rid of threats. Finally, eloquence bards are the best bards at inspiring, effectively having 10 d12s to inspire with, making you very inspiring. For weaknesses, you don't deal damage. That's not good. You're also not super physical. With low dexterity and strength, you could get winded climbing the stairs. Finally, some things are just immune to being charmed, which can shut down like half your spells. But thankfully, you're busting the supernatural stuff and charming the human stuff to get access to the supernatural stuff that you intend to bust. Just make sure another member of your team is actually working on the strategy for dealing with things before you can seal them away. Otherwise, you might be the one getting busted. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe for more. We make 2 videos every week. Join the Patreon for some character sheets or if you want to vote in polls, and subscribe to Tulok and Mango to watch me and my buddy Mango play video games.